Hey there, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Build Your Copywriting Business podcast. Hey there, Kate.
Hello, hello, hello. Wow, that was 3.
That was 3.
That's an indication of how this is going to go.
We're getting a little punchy,
Caffeinated.
friends. Getting a little punchy. But I have every confidence it's only going to make the episode better. And if it doesn't, well, all the bad stuff will get edited out anyway. Thanks, Julie. Okay, so today we are talking about social media and how to use social media. Yay. Okay, we're going to dial up the excitement just a touch. How to use social media to grow your business, but also starting with the caveat that if you don't want to, you don't have to.
So if you're like not into social, just stop listening to this episode now. It might be useful to hear. Maybe it influences how you help your clients, but yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it may give you some ideas for other things. But if you're thinking to yourself, I don't want to post on Instagram. I don't want to post on LinkedIn. Or maybe if you have a full-time job and you're kind of part-time as a copywriter, maybe you're thinking, well, I can't really go on LinkedIn as a copywriter anyway, which is very valid. So if social media is not your jam, you do not have to be on social media. However, that said,
if you want to be. Oh, and I will say too, we will link to the episode. We did one recently-ish of personal branding, of why you don't have to be your own brand. Certainly there are people out there selling you on the idea that you need such a social presence, and that is simply not true. You need your portfolio, certainly, and you certainly don't want to have a bad reputation, which I think is what this word is being connotated with. You certainly don't want to use your name. I don't want to go as Kate Sitars and start commenting on people's YouTube videos with just like trolling comments of like, your hair's ugly and you should really get another job. Just mean thing. Of course not. But that should go
Kate,
without
use your
saying.
other profile to do mean things.
I don't have time for that.
Maybe just don't be mean in general, friends.
Correct. Yeah. I mean, just good life advice of whatever you put out in the world. The more positivity you put in the world, the more you do genuinely get back. And things come back to bite you in the behind. Yes, you want to be on social in productive ways if you're using it for your personal life and not your business, certainly.
Yeah, be a good person.
Be a good caveat.
And that's our TED Talk. But that said, if you do want to use social media to help enhance your career, we have 7 tips for you. I do believe we did 7, right? Yeah, 7.
That sounds about right.
Somewhere. If we stop before 7, if we go,
you might add some bonus ones along the way. But 7, we've got planned.
Yes, exactly. So 7 tips, but also with another caveat, 2 caveats. What's going on?
So many.
It's a 2 caveat kind of day. Maybe, could be more. Again, as a reminder, social media is not a direct line to clients. It is a dotted line to clients. So when we say use it to enhance your business, absolutely it can. But if you are thinking, okay, well, I'm just going to put posts on social media and that's how I'm going to land clients, it's not going to happen for you that way. It can help people to notice you, and that may help attracting some attention, and that may help you land clients. But there's no guarantee. I don't care what any people on the internet are trying to sell you. If you post things on whatever social platform, you're going to get clients running to you. No, you won't.
Even if you went viral, that doesn't necessarily, because often what's going viral is entertainment, not necessarily adding value always.
Yeah, you're going viral with a bunch of people aren't going to hire you anyway. So What does that matter? Yes, exactly. So you be judicious about how you spend your time. These are all going to be, I hope, obviously, good tips. But at the same time, too, don't spend hours and hours each week executing these tips. Okay, so numero uno, Ketecita.
Yes. So we're using social media as a way to gain visibility. This is not a place where we want to be selling hard. It is not a sales pitch. These aren't sales pitch platforms. You're there to add value to conversations. You're there to add value for your clients potentially. Clients want to work with people that they trust, and earning trust, one way you do that is by demonstrating that you're showing up with something valuable to offer. You're not spamming their DMs with a sales pitch.
Exactly. And you absolutely can on your own profiles. You can offer things, DM me if you'd like me to send along this free guide, or, here's a workshop I've put together. Please join me. And even for paid workshop, you absolutely can do that. But at the same time, to Kate's point, you don't want to be commenting on other people's posts and pitching them that hard pitch, right? Which is, we know as a community, CCA students, we don't do the hard pitch to begin with anyway. So the doubly goes for on social media when you're effectively like interrupting someone, showing up on someone's post and making it all about yourself. It's not about you.
Yeah. And to that point too, if we're looking to add value to the conversation, certainly you can show up where other copywriters are hanging out and where your peers are effectively. But if the goal of your social presence, which I imagine it would be to attract clients, copywriters 99.99999% of the time aren't going to be your clients. Certainly if you're looking to work for another copywriter, maybe, but I feel like for most of us that's just not our target audience. We want to show up in the places where our clients that we want are already showing up. So if you think your clients are on Snapchat, certainly maybe you have a Snapchat presence. Potentially. But LinkedIn, certainly your clients are most likely going to be on that platform. Are they on Instagram? Are they using Instagram? Maybe, maybe not. Maybe they're using it in their personal life and not their company's not on Instagram for whatever reason. Maybe who are the types of people that they're following? And I may be getting ahead on one of our tips, but certainly you can show up and add value to conversations where your ideal clients might be following these other people. So it's kind of, again, to extend the dotted line, it's again, that gets even more dotted. But the point being, you want to be on the social platforms that make most sense. And typically I'd recommend start with one platform before you keep adding additional ones. So get comfortable on one, get in a regular cadence of what you're showing up there with, and then add. And again, if this is thinking of this as a bonus to our pitching and outreach to client strategy that we know has a direct line to revenue, what kind of time do you have for this dotted line? And it might be that one platform is kind of where you can sit for a while before you have more time to add others.
Yeah. And to go back to your point about other copywriters not going to be the ones who are hiring you, be careful about the connections that you're making. I know that sometimes you'll think, well, I don't have that many connections on this profile or whatever. I want to get more numbers so that I look legitimate. First of all, more than ever, followers are a vanity metric, meaning they don't mean anything. But even more so, if you're a copywriter and all of your other followers are copywriters, well, then what on earth? You can't get anything from that. Every once in a while, we'll see in the Facebook group, someone will post like, hey, let's everybody put our information here. We can all connect on LinkedIn or Instagram or whatever. And that's, we're not saying that you shouldn't connect with a few copywriters that you are close with and you have developed a relationship with, but connecting with other copywriters just for the sake of increasing your numbers, first of all, it doesn't really, increasing your numbers doesn't matter. And second of all, then your entire audience is other copywriters. And if you're posting something, you're like, oh, I got some likes on this. Okay, good. But you're getting likes from other copywriters. You're creating content when you are creating content for your target audience, which is people who might hire you, not other copywriters. So yes, I'm not saying don't connect with other copywriters, but you don't make it a mass push to connect to dozens and dozens and dozens of copywriters. Yeah.
Yeah. Anecdotally, I just heard from someone who in college to join some sort of networking group or club or whatever, they needed to have 500 LinkedIn connections to be able to join this college group. And I thought that is the
So
most
silly.
absurd thing, that the check box that they have to check, because the whole point of LinkedIn is to be able to oh yeah, this person, I know, I've worked with this person, they're great, I can vouch for them, all of that sort. If you don't know who your connections are specifically on LinkedIn, it dilutes the whole purpose, and certainly makes it harder as you're posting and sharing things, to your point, to suss out, okay, oh, this was really effective. Maybe that was really effective for copywriters that enjoyed that post. But if you start then creating more content like that, then you're not creating more content of the kind that your ideal client wants to engage with. So Again, yeah, just be careful with how you're looking at the metrics too. If you start saying, oh my gosh, this got a ton of likes, I should recreate a bunch of things like this. Maybe not.
Yeah, depends on your audience. Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Along those same lines, making sure that you are following the right kind of people, and if you're going to join groups, join the right kind of groups. Remember what your purpose is for being on these platforms. Now, again, we're talking about your professional presence, your entertainment. If it's for entertainment, whatever, do whatever you want to do in your personal profile. But for your professional profile, be smart about it. Join groups where your potential clients are likely to be. Follow people who are maybe, like you were saying, Kate, maybe they're people who are also followed by your potential clients, or follow people that are thought leaders in the industry. Follow people that you learn from as well. If you're like, oh, this was a really good post, that's interesting, I would like to see more of that perspective. Follow that. Give yourself the opportunity to learn. But don't just go in and follow other copywriters. Don't just go in and follow only the biggest names. And don't just go in. Yes, certainly, obviously, CCA students, you should continue to be a part of the student-only Facebook group. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't be in other copywriting groups outside of that, but how are you using your time? Right? If the more time you spend in groups with other copywriters, the less time you're spending in groups with people who might hire you.
And I think you mentioned, the big names. And I think certainly there's this idea of like, well, if I add value to these big names, there's so many more eyes on it. There's also so much more saturation in the comments. So to stand out and maybe have an even more, a larger impact, follow local business groups. So maybe your local chamber of commerce, maybe there's startup or entrepreneur groups that are specific to an industry that you do a lot of work in. You don't have to niche, but maybe there are certain niches that you are interested in that you're following along in these, like, oh, I want to write for healthcare, or, oh, I write for e-commerce all the time. So let me follow these groups that fit with these industries. But some of the smaller ones definitely will allow you to have a bigger impact and to stand out, especially if you're consistently adding value in there.
Especially on LinkedIn, I think some people jump to the connection first. They find someone they would like to get to know, and they jump to making an invitation to connect. And the vast majority of the time, it's a really bad move, because if someone doesn't know you, there's no benefit to them for connecting. Right? There's no, I'm sure you, Kate, you get the same thing. A ton of LinkedIn requests from people I don't know. Why on earth would I connect to people I don't know? And CCA students, you know that we are happy to connect with you. You have to let us know that you are CCA students, because we do get a lot of connection requests. And I really don't say that to be, to brag. Firstly, it's not brag-worthy, but just to give you some idea, we do not run a big company. This is, and we get a ton of requests. So if you're looking at other people and thinking, oh, I'm going to connect to them, don't immediately go for the connection. Instead, or I should say connection, I think is what they call it. Instead, look to slowly build a potential relationship. Don't go straight to the, hey, let's get married. Start out with the, hey, I see that we often come to the same coffee shop. Have you read this article in this newspaper? Very strange metaphor. I get it. But don't make the connection request when you don't know somebody. And we'll talk about the connection request in a second, but don't. It's jumping in so far, jumping so far ahead of where you should be if you don't know these people.
Let's talk about the connection request. We'll jump there because as you were talking, skip ahead.
Hey there, it's Nikki. I wanted to take a very quick minute to make sure that you knew about our free on-demand copywriting training. Now, whether you are brand new to copywriting or you've been doing it for a while, but you just can't seem to hit those income goals, this training is for you. You are going to learn the 3 secrets to landing freelance copywriting work without relying on frustrating job bidding sites like Upwork or Fiverr, or without cold calling strangers. And if you've watched any of the student success stories on this channel, and if you haven't yet, check them out. out, this is the exact same training that they all started with. And I mean students like Kate Kay, who is making 6 figures, working part-time, and retired her husband to help her build her business. Students like Stuart, who replaced his full-time salary, which was a good one, with his freelance income and then some. Stacy, who hit 6 figures in her first 6 months as a freelance copywriter, and Ashley, who landed the in-house copywriting job of her dreams. They all started with this free training, and you can start with this free training too. So sign up right now at freecopywritingtraining.com.
This idea we mentioned of adding value without selling, and I think specifically with the connection request of looking to add value, and hopefully to Nikki's point, you've been doing that along so the connection feels a lot more natural. What I've been seeing a ton of lately with LinkedIn, you've probably experienced this too, Nikki, people will be like, oh, I see, and they'll reference one of my recommendations. Oh, you know this person too. So they're calling out an individual's name. And I'm like, oh, we have this person in common. Like, love to chat more, blah, 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 whatever it is. And so I reply and say, oh, I'd love to chat more about whatever it is, and they go straight to their pitch from that. It's like a bait and switch. So I was like, oh, you don't even know this person that we're both connected with. You're just referencing, you're pulling, because I noticed everyone's pulling out the first recommendation, the first name of the recommendations. And once it happened 2-3 times, I was like, oh, icky. Very, very icky.
Very icky. And then same thing to the connection, because if you're going to connect with someone, give them a reason to connect with you. But the reason to connect with you can't be that you want the connection. That's one of the things that I get a lot too, is hey, I'm looking to build my network of business owners who XYZ, blah, 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 blah. Like, I understand that you are, but that doesn't give me any reason to connect with you. So when you are making that connection, give them a reason to do so. Make it beneficial. Copywriters, make it beneficial to them to do so. And then again, like as Kate was saying, you don't go right in for the connection. You have to be building up that relationship. And the way that you do that is by following them, is by leaving thoughtful comments on things that they post, not just like, oh, I like this, or, oh, so funny, but things along the lines of like, ooh, interesting perspective. Have you also thought about XYZ? Or, ooh, I saw a similar article. You might want to check this out, or something along the, but create a real connection in the comments. And also too, when you are just, imagine that you are posting something, right? Maybe you've written an article and you posted something, and there are people on there who are going, yay, great thought, love this piece, way to go. And then someone else who's saying, oh, I thought this was really interesting. I loved your point about this. Have you seen this article by so-and-so? Which one is really going to catch your attention, right? Which one is going to make you go, oh, who's this person? It's going to be the latter, right? And you want to be that person. And yes, does that take more time? Of course it does. Being a quality professional person takes more time. But if you really want to earn that connection with this person, you take the time to do it, right? Like one of the things that what I've seen a lot, I'm sure you've seen a lot too, Kate, is that you get someone, especially on Instagram, but someone starts following you and then they just go and like 5 things because they're trying to get your attention. Like they go and someone liked 20 posts. Oh, it was one person and they just liked 20 posts or they don't even bother following you and they just like 20 posts because they want to get your attention. Like, no, we do everything with quality, right? We're always trying to be the best professionals we can. So anything that is, oh, get this faster, here's the hack. No, there are no hacks to building genuine relationships. There's only doing things the right way and the wise and providing value-based way.
Yeah. You're having a conversation and you want to come across as a human. I think some of these DMs I've been getting they start off with that potential to be human, and then they go right into like pitch robot mode. And that's not the vibe you want. I think it's so same thing. It's going in the DMs is same way that you're adding value in groups and the groups that you follow. You're listening to the conversation so that you can respond in a thoughtful way that's relevant to the conversation, that's not pushing your specific agenda. You're asking thoughtful questions that let you follow up with value after that, if it makes sense. And certainly we're not saying you can't ever offer your services, but you want to build to that in a way that is a lot more natural. And if it makes sense, it might not make sense. And usually those conversations, I feel like you still want to take off of, you're not going to do it in a comment thread, for everyone else to see. So
yeah, do everything with a value, providing value, but also with a soft touch. If you're going in there and offering your services, everybody is being pitched on LinkedIn. Everybody. You don't want to be one of the masses. If you're having a conversation, if you're providing value, and they say, oh, hey, I see that you're a copywriter. Do you ever do any work with, my kind of company? Isn't that a better way to initiate that, or not to initiate, to have that conversation be initiated? And again, you know that we are all about being proactive, but when it comes to a relationship, because I think we get confused because it's online and we forget that there are real people involved. But just imagine that each post is a conversation at a party, right? Or a cocktail party or some networking event. And someone is talking, right? That's their post. If you come up and you're like, ha, I like that. And then you go over to someone else's conversation and go, ha, I like that. And then you go,
oh my God, I love this.
Versus going over and saying, oh, that's really interesting. I thought have you also read this? But then by that same token, if you start a conversation to go, I'm a copywriter, you could hire me it turns it south again. It is converse with people like you would in real life. Be a human, be a quality human, and don't make it about yourself and what you want. The irony is, the less you make it about yourself and what you want, the more likely you are to get what you want ultimately in the long run.
Oh, I love that. I think too,
not too bad, huh?
Yeah, that was great.
That was pretty good. Yeah. There's the t-shirt.
Yeah. I think too, when we're talking about CCA students, teaching how we teach how to pitch, how to do client outreach, very, very value-based. With that, we want to give away, when you're commenting, you're adding value. You're not giving away the specific what. You're not giving away copy. You were showing you're saying the how, you're saying the why it's beneficial and why they should do this, and offering that advice. And then you give people the opportunity to come back and say, oh, hey, do you do this? Here's this thing. I want that. Do you do that? And that's when you can have that conversation.
Exactly. And you can periodically offer a little, like someone posts something and says, oh, the opt-in rates on my newsletter, whatever, are not doing well. Is anybody seeing anything on this page? You can absolutely take a moment and go, oh, I think if you changed your headline a little bit, or, and that's really just offer a little bit of like, I would test out a headline more like this. Those 2 minutes of giving away a little bit of copy, that's okay, right? You're not sitting there and you're not rewriting their entire page for them. It's kind of a nice way of demonstrating your skill without, like Kate was saying, you don't give it all away. But that's also an opportunity to be helpful. Right back to that cocktail party. If someone was standing there going, oh, I've been trying to figure this out on my opt-in page, and you would say, oh, actually, let me take a quick look at it. Oh, I think if I were you, I might try this out. See, it's worth a try. If you're doing tests, I would test something like this, right? That is reasonable.
So we've talked a lot about how we're engaging out in the world on other pages, other people's posts, and connecting and all of that. When we're thinking about our own pages, whatever they may be, again, we said start with one platform. You don't need a full right out the gate content calendar or a flashy strategy that it takes a lot of time. And again, you don't have tons of time, most likely. Hopefully you're getting clients. And again, we want to spend the bulk of our time on the direct line clients. That said, you're like, I know, Kate, you've said that like 5 times during this episode. There's a reason.
Truth.
But so when it comes to our own social presence, start simple. Create just a simple, are you creating a Facebook business page? Are you creating an Instagram account? What one are you doing for your copywriting business? And then some of your first posts that you can put there of maybe these are some of your pinned posts on if you're going the Instagram route, but make it clear who you are, what you do, who you help, and giving people a clear way to contact you. That's kind of the simple start. It's not your portfolio. You're not necessarily sharing your portfolio pieces here. That's a separate site you're creating. This is kind of your calling card on the social channels. Again, we'll talk kind of how to post and what to post, but it doesn't need to be a full-fledged thing right out the gate.
Exactly.
I think that's what stops so many people from getting started. Of I need to post every day and I need to, do this and that, and then you're never going to do it if that's what you set out to do.
Yeah, exactly. Especially since organic reach is not to get too technical, but it's dismal. So if you're thinking, if I post once a day, I'm going to get people, and then I'm going to get, and maybe I'll do a reel that ends up being viral. Again, just post quality things, post things that make sense. You can post pieces from your portfolio, but you don't have to post all of them. Can you post a testimonial? Absolutely. Can you post your thoughts about an ad campaign? Absolutely. But it does not have to be once a day. Even really just aiming for like once a week is perfectly fine. It really is if you do want to lean into social, it really is the interactions that you're going to find most useful. Before I forget, I want to remind CCA students to go through the LinkedIn course within the CCA to make sure that your profile is as good as it can be. Because the nice thing about LinkedIn is that, yes, it's a social media site, but it's also in some ways a search engine site. And sometimes people will be searching for copywriters, and you can enhance your chances of someone reaching out to you. You can't guarantee that, of course. It's not, again,
passive.
Exactly. And it's a dotted line. But you might as well increase your chances that it can happen by making your profile as good as it can be. So CCA students watch that training within the CCA.
Yeah. So Nikki's point, if you're posting once a week to start is good. You want to make this a consistent as possible habit for yourself and sustainable. And so start with a smaller number than you think. And then if you have time and you can add more consistently week over week to 2 posts a week, fine. But you can still start building up your presence on your profile so that if someone does find you or is searching you, you have valuable content there. But I would set a timer for yourself if you're doing this on a weekly basis to say, okay, what can I do? I'm going to spend 10 minutes of my time liking and commenting on things that are in my feed. Again, you're following the right people so that shows up in your feed. Okay, what can I comment on and add value with this timer? Okay, my timer went off. I'm done for this week. Maybe you're checking obviously your DMs. If anything's come in, you want to be responding to things in a timely manner. So maybe that is something you're just checking once a day just to see if nothing's in there. You get off, because it's very easy to get on these platforms and not get off. And 30 minutes later, we're like, oh my gosh, where did my time go? And now I can't bill my client that or attribute that to business building because I just scrolled through my feed and did nothing. So be very, very careful.
And lean on AI for help. The amazing thing is that when we used to have to come up with topics for posts, we'd be sitting there going, okay, well, I need to, what could I post about? Lean on AI. Go over to ChatGPT and say, I'm a professional copywriter and I'm creating a profile that I want to use to attract clients and just to display my skills. What are 20 topics that I could create posts about? Or what are 20 hooks to lead into a topic? And I'm not saying have it write your content for you.
Yeah,
I'm not saying that.
Your unique take.
Yeah. You're a writer, so you have to be able to, but getting hooks to get you started, that's perfectly fine. You'll also probably find ways to improve upon them, but also even just to have it like, all right, what are some topics? Great, use those topics and then run with them. But there are opportunities to do this a little bit faster now than there were before. Don't hesitate to lean on AI to get a little bit of help where you can, where it makes sense.
And one of the last things, I say last because maybe we have more if we come up with them, but you get some good bonus stuff in there. Using your social proof smartly. So if you finish a project with your client's permission, you can kind of toot your client's horn while also showing how you took their challenge and provided an effective solution for it. So that can be a great way to tag the client, invite them into the conversation, if that's appropriate, if that's the relationship you have with your clients or their business, I should say too. And even just something short that's like, I just wrapped this website refresh for this client. And you can kind of, again, you want to demonstrate is there a tip that you learned throughout that process on that project with that client? You just don't want to say, here's what I did and here's how great it is. You want to add some sort of value and provide some into the conversation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. When you talk about strategy, it's useful for other people. When you help people see how you came up with a solution, it's beneficial to you because it gives people insight into the way your brilliant mind works.
Mm-hmm.
But it also it's useful to other people to learn how a project comes to be. And maybe there's something that kind of sparks something for them as well. So it's still providing value to be describing a project that you worked on. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I think possibly this should go without saying, but I think we kind of always have to say it anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Just be the best version of you on these sites. I started to say that, Kate, and then I think we got off track because I think I started making fun of you. I'm cruel. Be better than me.
Yeah.
No, but be a professional on your professional profiles. Be a professional. If it's your professional Instagram profile, then use it for professional purposes. If it is LinkedIn, it needs to be professional. Don't post personal stuff just because you're looking for a place to post personal stuff. You have personal profiles for that. Also, maybe don't post it there. Just saying, there is a such thing as oversharing. But also,
sorry. You might be
that's where I was going to go. Go for it. Yes.
I feel like we've talked about this before, and it still blows my mind that it happens and continues to happen, that we see people complaining about clients on LinkedIn even. On any platform. You never save the complaining about clients for a conversation offline with your significant other, with your friends, with your other copywriter peers, CCA students. You can put it in the Facebook group if there's a challenge you need to work through, but that should certainly never be out in the public.
Nothing but glowing praise for your clients on any profile.
Nothing nice
on your
to
personal
say,
one.
don't
say nothing. And I would even say don't put it on your personal profile either, because you don't want stuff to link. Just keep it
nowhere
to
online.
yourself.
Yeah.
And you this might be like, well, how does it? You would be surprised. Sometimes people just aren't thinking. So think before you post. And it truly, like the one that always comes to mind, I think, Kate, you gave me the heads up. You're like, ooh, go look at this. Someone had posted a complaint about a client, and in the comments, the client said, it sounds like you're talking about us.
Yes.
God. And I guarantee that they didn't get work from that client anymore. And then everybody saw it. Like, oh man.
And hopefully that person was checking their LinkedIn to see that the client had wrote that and took it down. But at that point,
I mean, here's the thing. Clients are human beings, right? They're imperfect. And sometimes your clients are going to annoy you. They do. And they're going to do things you don't like. And because that's the nature of being human. But the place to discuss that or share it or anything is not online. Don't do it. Resist the temptation. Just be the best you online that you possibly can be, which I think is probably maybe be
all that you can be. I believe that's the Army slogan that they returned to.
Find your future in the Army. Yes. And if you want to do that too, great, go for it. But just be your best version of you online. Wouldn't the world be so much nicer if we all tried to be the best versions of ourselves online? Like, let's just be the best that we can be, whether or not you're also in real life finding your future in the Army. Yeah, in real life too. Exactly.
Be all that you can be in every asset of your life.
In the Army
aspect. Out of the Army. In the Facebook group. Off the Facebook group.
See, we knew this was going to devolve into chaos. Yeah.
We got there.
Yeah, we did. Good job, us. Okay, so now you have definitely more than 7 points.
I was going to recap them, but I feel like
let's just listen to the episode again. Listen at double speed. See if you can keep up. But we hope, though, that this has made it feel a bit more manageable to dig into social media. The most important thing really is to go at it with a plan for how you're going to interact, a plan for your intentions, a plan for who you want to connect with. Just be smart about it. The easiest way to lose control of your time is to kind of go into it going, I don't know what to do. I'm just going to do a bunch of stuff. Exactly. So just go into it with a plan and be wise. Yes. And be good. Be nice people. Yes. Okay. So with that, we will catch you all in the next episode. Bye, everybody. Like what you heard? Hit subscribe so you never miss a video. And if you're ready to take the first step toward becoming a copywriter yourself, sign up for a free video training right here.